The past few years have been massive for Andrew Schulz as his career as a comedian has taken off, as well as his podcast Flagrant. But as his numbers rose, so did his ego. Take, for example, his appearance on the Full Send podcast. In November of 2022, Andrew Schulz sat down with the Nelk Boys on their podcast Full Send, and the episode was so bad that the Nelk Boys, as well as Andrew, collectively decided to not release the episode. In July of 2023, 8 months after recording the podcast, the Nelk Boys released the episode. In the episode, Andrew got mad at the hosts for their unpreparedness and confronted one of the hosts, Steiny. The confrontation was awkward and was a main reason for the podcast not initially coming out.
What bothers you the most right now?
Nothing.
Nothing bothers you?
You looking at your phone while we're doing this interview, and everybody's seeming disinterested.
Were you looking at notes or texting girls?
Notes.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Me taking time out of my day to do this and then feeling
Dude,
like I'm forcing you guys to do the podcast.
I've never been more
That
excited to
annoyed
do
me.
a podcast.
Say again?
I've never been more excited. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. You don't have
No.
to apologize. You asked me what annoyed me, and I gave you an honest answer.
Wait, are you being serious about that?
Yeah, that annoyed me.
Really?
Yes.
So if
Is
someone
that surprising to you?
well, if I'm looking at my notes, I have some things personally that I wrote that I wanted to ask you. Not on there.
Can you explain what the dynamic is here? Like, you guys are like friends with these people. You're the newest, so you could take the shots. Like, I'm trying to understand what it is. Like, you're gonna have to see him.
Bro, I just feel like you targeted me. Did you or no? Did someone tell you to do that?
No. I thought you were just being a
for?
little annoying.
How?
I think you're annoying.
Really?
A little bit. Yeah.
And what makes you think that?
I don't know.
It's gonna be like a therapy session.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck?
Are you, I don't know if you're playing a character or you're having like an insecure moment. If you're having a vulnerable, insecure moment, then I want to like
No,
talk
I mean,
about
I'm kind of playing something, but what?
Oh, if you're playing
what
something.
did I say that triggered you?
Schulz started to analyze Steiny and called him out for his insecurities, thinking he had Steiny all figured out.
Because I feel like you got pissed off at me.
Well, that's what happens when you have real reactions when you're being phony.
When was
you're
I phony?
with somebody and
was
then
I
you get a
phony
real
with you?
reaction, you can't be upset.
When was I phony with
But
you?
you're doing exactly what you should do. You should try to get your moments. This is a good moment for you.
Bro, you're crazy. You think I'm doing this for clicks?
Even the way your voice sounds when you say it isn't real.
After the airing of the episode, many people agreed with Andrew and even thanked him for calling out Steiny. Now on the front, it doesn't seem that bad what Andrew did until we look at how Andrew handled the aftermath. For context, the Nelk Boys manager John was on a podcast and was asked the question, was there ever a Full Send podcast episode that never came out? Which John responded by saying that Andrew Schulz was on the podcast and it was never released. After the clip of John saying this went viral, people were begging the Nelk Boys and Schulz to release the episode.
Then, of course, they blame us. Like, yo, Kyle, why is Kyle holding this episode back? Right. Blah, blah, blah. Then I messaged Schulz. I'm like, yo, we got to redo the pod. Me, him, and John are talking in a group chat. Okay. And he's like, yeah, I'm down. Let's redo the pod. Blah, blah, blah. And then we're literally planning a date to do it. I think we were going to do it. We tried to do it in September in Toronto when he had his show. Yeah. So we're literally like on a text. Me, him, and John are on a text chat, planning to do the pod. And then he just blindsides us, doesn't even text me, and just posts straight to his social media.
Oh, shit. What did he say?
I just get a mention, like Andrew Schulz mentioned you on Instagram, and it's like, Nelk, release the pod.
Schulz went behind the Nelk Boys' back and publicly called them out, telling them to release the episode, when it was in fact Andrew who didn't want the podcast out initially and was in the middle of planning a second interview. Andrew Schulz looks a lot worse in this situation when we look at how he acted during his podcast with Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis is no doubtedly one of the biggest names in comedy and podcasting today, and whenever he sits down with Andrew Schulz, Schulz seems to get insecure around him. Sounds like anyone familiar? Gillis is definitely more popular and respected than Schulz, so when the two are together, Schulz has this weird competitive side, which makes him come off as a dick.
I think it probably helped you.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
That's, all right.
Yeah, well, thank you for giving us the energy for the question we didn't ask.
No, I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Excited
What's
about
your
SNL?
fucking problem, dude?
Excited
You had a
about
bad attitude
SNL?
when I called you today. You were grumpy when I called you.
Yeah, I did have a bad attitude.
Why were you being grumpy?
Because you faked the whole I don't know what's going on thing, and I didn't like, oh, you did. You called me the day of the pod. You're like,
I said,
yeah, we had that
shit.
today?
I said, oh shit, are we doing the pod today?
How often do you call me?
And I wanted to call you. I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, right before the pod?
Yeah, I wanted to say,
You
oh
were
shit.
being fake!
What?
That's why I was frustrated.
I don't know, Tom. My guy's nice.
By the way,
Yeah, that's foul.
these guys are awesome.
Yeah.
They're having fun.
Yeah.
For you guys to sit here and be like,
wait a minute.
Let's bring it up and mock them. That's fucked up, dude. That's a dude.
We're mocking
By using them as an insult.
Using?
Yeah.
We're using you.
So you're insulting them by saying I look like them? Or you're insulting me by saying I look like them?
This is you back in your victim thing.
No, I'm not being a victim. I'm saying the jokes you're doing is not, it's not like...
It's not PC?
That's not cool.
Props to Shane Gillis for calling out a room full of Schulz's yes men. It's really easy to see that Schulz feels the need to compete with Gillis and has to interrupt him or make silly comments to inflate his ego. We can see this more on Shane Gillis's recent appearance on the Flagrant Podcast. One of Schulz's henchmen made a stupid joke towards Gillis when Schulz exaggerated his laugh to make Gillis the butt of the joke.
You gotta try Sugon with a girl.
What's Sugon?
That's where you Sugon his dick. You fucking idiot. I hate you. You're fucking gay. You're so gay.
Yo, how did you fall for that, Shane? How did you take an Uber here from Queens to fall for that, Shane?
Dude, you guys are so fucking cool.
Dude, I know.
Why are you flicking him off?
I know.
Why
Because he's a gay man. He's a gay guy.
I have to sit here and I know.
This shit sucks.
I know. I know. I feel you.
He's done. Akash is done too. It's just these two fucking dipshits.
Dude.
Gillis gets back at Schulz by making fun of his epiphanies later in the episode.
I love Schultz
What are you
epiphanies.
talking about?
Schultz epiphanies are my favorite.
Yo.
He repeats a statement. He's like,
That's crazy, though. It's true.
Schultz epiphanies.
That shit be making you gas
So
you, though,
good,
right?
dude.
When Schultz
I know
has
when
a
he
you're
quotes
like,
you.
I did it, yo! I did it!
It's true. Is like, anybody he was talking to, there was something interesting. And he was like, okay, what? I'm going to get to that interesting thing. I'm curious about it. So I
It's
am
a good
curious.
quality.
Yeah.
You should all learn from it.
Anybody you're talking to has something interesting.
Whoa.
That's it every time.
Crazy how Shane can actually hold his own against 4 people by being actually funny. Take notes, Andrew. You were in the presence of someone who is actually funny. The best example of Andrew Schulz being completely insufferable and egotistical is when comedian Whitney Cummings sat down on the Flagrant Podcast in April of 2023. Whitney Cummings doesn't have the greatest reputation in comedy and is often called annoying and unfunny. But during the episode, Whitney wasn't the most obnoxious one in the room. That was Andrew.
No, you just said that I didn't watch any of the roast.
No, I just.
Is that what you just said?
I just said.
What did you just say? That I didn't watch 1 minute of the roast.
No, I I sent you a link and.
Just tell me what you said. Don't do the golden retriever outside the car window on the highway face. Let's just talk to each other.
I love that you just call me a dog and no, and like
No,
that was
because
like.
when you think I'm setting you up for something, you
cute
do
dog,
this
though.
thing where you're like this.
No, this is just how I look best in the light. I'm getting older, Andrew.
Well, can I say objectively speaking?
Sure.
You are annoying. No. Objectively speaking,
Dude, I love doing corporate gigs because it's also like, it's a big business, I think, for more like female comics. Because, you know, like being a stand-up as a woman, it's not a business. It's not a viable.
Can you tell us how hard it is? Like,
I'm not saying it's hard
tell us
necessarily.
how hard it is to
I'm
be a
not saying
female
it's-
comic. Like,
it's
that's
not-
what we love to listen to.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's hard to be
It's
a.
so tough on the road.
No, it's not what I fucking said. What are you
Guys
doing?
trying to tell you to go back to the hotel.
No one, no,
This
bitch.
is so different than being a woman anywhere
don't
else
have-
in life.
It's not.
How is being a comic on the road any different than just going out to a bar? I always hear this from female comics. They're like, guys always trying to go back to your hotel. And it's like, look at the face again. You're listening
No,
again.
I just
You
wait,
put on your
you're just
listening
putting
face.
words in my mouth.
I'd rather you look at me and just think about like a dog bone.
Whitney can never speak for more than a few seconds without Andrew interrupting her just to make fun of what she is saying or the way she is looking. Whitney quickly noticed something was off with Andrew and called him out for it.
We didn't have cables and shit.
What's going on? Did
I need to know what's going on. You come on here, you say you're a big old bull dyke out of the nowhere.
Hold on. I'm not a bull dyke.
Come on.
Did Emma take down your Die Hard poster? What's going on? What's going on at home here?
You come in.
What's going on at home?
You come in and you tell me that you're lying about
What's
something.
going on? Are you
I need to get to the bottom
Are
of
you
it.
shooting blanks? Why are you such a grump?
Yes.
How
How am I grumpy?
You have some rage at me, Andrew. This is a new kind of rage.
This is a good defensive strategy. You come in here, you
Why
accuse
do I even
this
have
is
to be
gaslighting.
defensive?
Since this episode, Whitney has yet to return to the Flagrant Podcast. Never thought I'd ever say this, but you guys need to let Whitney Cummings talk. I was never a big Whitney fan, but I've gained a lot more respect for her after having to endure this nonsense. Wow, good job for Whitney for handling those incredibly rude and obnoxious guys. Literally won't even let her speak. Proud of her. It's almost as if Schulz invites guests on his show so they can be an audience for him. He's clearly not interested in his guests or what they have to say, and we can see even more of this when DJ Akademiks joined Schulz and his henchmen on the podcast. Akademiks tries to tell a story about him in London, but every time he tries to tell the story, Andrew or one of his henchmen interrupt him.
So, I'm in London. I go to London for the first time.
Yeah. How was it?
London was kind of cool. It's definitely not America though.
Why don't you?
No shit.
God damn, yo, you on it.
Anyway, so I'm in London. Diddy had previously hit me up to say, hey, listen, stop fucking with my side chick.
Basketball nicknames. Earl Monroe, Earl the Pearl, Black J.
No, stop.
This guy's good.
No.
This guy's good.
I gotta say the story, okay?
Say the story, bro.
Check this out. So I'm in London.
Yeah.
London's cool, great vibes. Okay,
Yeah.
I love the taxi cabs where you can face the other person you're with in the car. Cool. Now, one night I'm trying to go out, okay? Now they tell me I love Afrobeats. They're like, yo, we can go to Afrobeat spot. But also what happened is Diddy's in town. Never met Diddy, never been around him.
Are you excited to meet Diddy?
I wasn't trying to meet Diddy. I usually.
Why not?
Here's my thing. I stay away from these.
After 3 attempts from Akademiks to tell his story and getting interrupted every single time, he finally raises his voice over everybody talking to try to finish the story.
Hey, can I tell my fucking London story?
Yeah, tell your story.
Now,
Tell us London story.
I'm trying to go out. I'm trying to go out.
You know why we still not part of it, London?
It's funny that Schulz is doing pretty much exactly what Steiny was doing on the Full Send podcast, and that when Schulz got interrupted, he walked off the podcast and made sure that the podcast didn't get released, but when he interrupts people, it's acceptable. Now, Logan Paul also fell victim to Schulz, but this time in a completely different way. When Logan Paul sat down on the Flagrant podcast, Schulz couldn't keep his hands off Logan.
Kick out with the boys.
You're doing great.
Thanks.
Look at them.
Yeah, bro, I was engaged. Now I'm engaged.
Yo, you are, dude. I'm fucking engaged.
What are you doing?
I'm putting the gay in engaged.
What are you doing, bro?
Dude, he got D's, bro.
Wait, did he?
Dude. Son.
I'm engaged.
Okay.
You got married?
Yeah.
Bro!
Come on, bro.
You can't assault our guests. You cannot assault them.
Tell me about it.
I'm about to fucking Bobby Lee you, bro.
Kick me off my own podcast?
Get out. Come on, bro. Why? Let me ask you something. Why would there be stress between us? Andrew.
Come on,
insulting the guests.
Come
He's
on,
trying to be
bro.
serious, dude.
Bro, I had to make sure the legs are also getting worked out. You know what I mean?
He's trying to be serious.
Chill, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
Okay, I'll break your feet.
Yeah, don't do that to me.
Okay, so no. Damn, bro, can you let him get a breath?
Why are you bringing up old shit?
Get a breath.
He's growing. He's growing.
Feel that, though. Feel that. Feel that.
I've been trying to size him up, and I'm like, yo, he's kind of
He might
big.
got you now?
No,
The triceps crazy.
Give me, give me a couple.
Now, going back to the Full Send podcast, many people praised Andrew for calling out Steiny and quote-unquote putting him in his place. But when he has Logan, who was a very controversial person at the time of this podcast for his multi-million-dollar crypto scam, didn't call him out for any of that. Has a problem with Steiny being fake, but not Logan. LOL, great judge of character, Andrew. It's pretty weird to me that Schulz was okay with clowning on that Steiny kid for being fake, but then doesn't call out a real scumbag like Logan. Now, it's clear that Andrew Schulz has let his fame and popularity go to his head. Many OG fans of the Flagrant podcast can't even watch the podcast anymore due to Schulz inviting guests on the show just so they can hear Andrew talk. When people click on a podcast with an interesting guest featured, they want to listen to the guest and what they have to offer, not a guy who makes unfunny jokes.